Good soup. Yo, so I'm back again with another episode for my second prep series. This time I'm going to be speaking about the divisions in bodybuilding.
Yeah, boy.
Because I've come to realise when speaking to people about bodybuilding or saying that I've got a show coming up, etc, etc, they don't actually understand that there's multiple different divisions within bodybuilding and they all require a different look completely. So people just think that I'm going for open, which clearly I'm not going for open, but today I'm going to be going over all of them. If you haven't subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button down below, and if you haven't seen any of my other videos from my last prep series, please go watch them there. But without any further ado, we're going to get straight into the divisions in bodybuilding. Let's go! So, as people most probably know, in all of the divisions, it's obviously based on muscularity, symmetry, and overall conditioning, pretty much. So the first category that I'm going to be speaking about is the top one, is the Open Olympia. So that's the original bodybuilding class that actually is. So just to give you a visual of what the top competitor for an Open Physique category would look like, which would be Big Ramy. Here he is last year in winning the Olympia. Within this class, there is no limit to how much muscle that you can put on. It's down to muscle mass, muscularity, muscle bellies, and your posing as well, and also the overall conditioning. So this is the giants, the absolute beasts of the beast, basically. They are literally judged from their calves all the way up until their traps. The entire body is judged, and it's done on a lot to do with mass building. So when someone hasn't worked on a particular body part, say their rear delts aren't popping as much as the next guy, then they'll be marked down for that. So the next division which sort of ties into that is the 212 division. I want to sort of try and do it in some sort of order, but the 212 division is restricted on their weight, so they can only weigh 212 pounds, which is why it's called 212 division. These are some of the guys that are competing in it in this day and age, so you can get a visual aspect of what they look like again. But this is a very good category for people that are quite short, because if you're short, you're obviously not going to be able to put on the same amount of muscle as someone with a bigger build. If you're 7 foot tall, then you're going to have a bigger frame to be able to put more muscle on, whereas if you're 5'2", then you're not going to be able to put as much muscle on, limiting you to a certain size. So we've gone over the open class category now, and we've gone over the 212 category. We're now going to go into the third one, which is going to be classic physique, which is my favourite and my desired division to go into, and what I'm going to be competing in my next show in April. So stay tuned for that. Again, if you haven't seen my prep video and why it's going to be so hard for me this time, go and watch that over there, because that's a good watch. So again, with the other classes, classic physique is judged on their proportions, their muscularity, their conditioning. You have to have superior conditioning, of course, as you would do for the open class as well. However, it's more of an aesthetic look, so you're looking for a very tapered waist, small waist to wide shoulder ratio. You've got the posing is probably the most paramount within this division, because it's judged that even the individual posing routines are judged within this category. And you've got the classic sort of Arnold poses, and you've got the vacuums that are done. So if you don't know what vacuum is, this is it here. So as time went on within bodybuilding and the open division started gaining more and more mass monsters, and the idea of a small waist and wide shoulders was sort of forgotten about, this division was then brought back in respect of the sort of golden era and like the Arnold stage and the Frank Zane. Yeah, so I love this category quite clearly. That's why I love and it's my favourite one. But another thing which is good is that they have a restriction of size. So obviously, if they didn't have like some sort of limit, it would end up being sort of more open, because you can put on as much mass as you possibly want. But they have like a height to weight sort of ratio that you have to abide by. So I'll just go on, I'm not going to go over every single height to weight, but I'll go through sort of the most common sizes that you can see, from about 5'10" up to 6'2". So for a professional classic physique competitor, if you are 5'10" and up to and including 5'11", then you are capped at 98 kilograms, so that's 215 pounds. If you are 5'11" and up to and including 6 foot, you are capped at 101 kilograms, and that's 222 pounds. And 6 foot and up to and including 6'1", you are capped to 104 kilograms and 230 pounds. And finally, last one I'll go over is 6'1" and up to 6'2". You can then be 109 kilograms and 240 pounds. So you've got to appreciate that the fact that these people that are weighing in at a maximum of say 104 kilograms for someone who's up to 6'1", that is a big dude, because when you're on stage, you're obviously going to be completely depleted of water. You're going to be at your lightest, and you're still going to be over 100 kilograms of pure muscle. So these aren't necessarily small guys. As you can tell with Chris Bumstead, he's still a big guy, but he's just capped at how big he can actually get, which is helping keeping that sort of classic and golden era look to the sport.
Yeah, boy.
So now we've been over the open physique guys, which is the mass monsters, the 212, which is normally the shorter competitors, the classic physique, which is the golden era style competitors, and now I'm going to go finally over one more category, which is going to be physique competitors. I'm not as well versed as a lot of people in physique. I know a few physique competitors and they get into immense condition. So for the physique competitors, it's slightly different. It's same in the sense that you're judged on your muscularity, your conditioning and stuff like that, and your symmetry, but it's different in the sense of it's more based around an athletic build. So by the book, that's what it says, it's more of an athletic build. So it's meant to be not as mass orientated or condition orientated. It's more meant to be a sort of athletic looking dynamic build. And they also wear board shorts. Board shorts are the shorts that will start at your waist and come down to just above your knee, so you don't have to be judged on your legs at all.
Do you know you're supposed to work out your lower body too?
And a lot of competitors still choose to train their legs, but you don't necessarily have to in this division. And of course, with all of the categories, you will be marked on your stage presence. If you're coming out and you're shaking, let's say, or your posing's completely off, then you will be marked down because you're not showing your physique to the fullest, essentially. So they are the 4 main categories for men's bodybuilding. So now, if you didn't know already, you now know that there's open bodybuilding, which is the original bodybuilding class, which is the mass monsters of today's era. You then have the 212, which again, they're still mass monsters of today's era, but normally they're slightly shorter. And then you've got the classic physique, which is the Chris Bumstead and whatnot physique. A lot of you probably know about this purely on the basis of Chris Bumstead and how much he's exploded on social media. And then you have lastly the physique competitors, which are the athletic looking competitors in the board shorts. So just a quick update on myself and my prep for my next classic show. I'm currently haven't really changed much since the last video, but I'm trying to up the cardio a little bit more. So I'm now doing about 4 times cardio a week. But I've sort of hit a few speed bumps in prep, to be honest with you, but trying to work through everything and try and push on as much as I possibly can. The only other update that I do have is that I was meant to be coming back to the UK on the 20th of February to sort of hit my prep and do as much as I possibly could, but now instead of the 20th, it's been brought forwards into the 9th. So that essentially should give me more time to actually nail down my diet and get back on track for prep and give me a bit more preparation for hitting the show as best as I possibly can. I just want to end by saying that I have a huge respect for every single category in bodybuilding, men's and females, open physique, classic, every single division. And I think that each one of them has to have an immense amount of work put into it. I don't think any credit should be taken away from any of the divisions. I personally just prefer the classic. That's just honestly my opinion. But I know people in every single who's competed in each one of them different categories. They all put in immense work, and it takes a lot to compete in any of the divisions whatsoever. So please give credit to every single division in bodybuilding, not just your preferred one. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share, comment and subscribe for my algorithm and to help me out. But until next time, let's make some gains. Boom.